everyone, I'm Virginia Killmore and welcome to my studio. Can you believe that it's February already? I can't. It's just time is going by so fast. At least for me, I get to play with my grandbaby on Mondays and Fridays and with you guys the rest of the time. And I thought it was time to start making some Valentine's Day cards. So that's what we're going to work on today. I know that card was hard to see, but I'll show it to you close up. So let's get started. So I'm going to bring the card up closer so that you can see. I don't know if you can see all the wonderful texture. Because it's white on white, it is really hard to see. Oh, that looks really good. And this card uses very little supplies. Actually, these are strips that I have left over from cutting cardstock. So I just took them and ran them through different embossing folders to create this kind of one-of-a-kind card. And I thought it was simple and easy to do and kind of fun. So let's get started with it. We're going to need the Duo Punch, some Blushing Bride ink. I am using this stamp set. Let me zoom out so you can see a little better. Hearts and Kisses. I just thought this was really pretty. And I don't know what Galentine's Day is, but I think it's a really neat idea. I also used, oh no, that's all I used. I used this stamp. And I took Sealed with a Kiss and cut it so that I could fit it in the heart punch. Do you see how I've got it set up? I do that all the time. I just sliced it right here, and then I can put it back in the, if I want it long, long ways, I can do that. And then I use the little hearts. So what we're going to need to get started is an 8.5 by 5.5 basic white cardstock, and I actually said it right today. And I am going to be using this scrap piece of paper to help me line up all my pieces, because that's the hardest part, is after you've gone through and made your strips, lining it all up so that it fits. And some of them may be a little bit bigger, but that's okay, because I can always trim them afterwards. So I'm going to try to line it up the way I had it, because I like the layout. I thought the Scripty didn't come through as well, and I think if I was to do this again, I would take the Scripty and possibly put something under it. So there you go. Those are all my pieces. So what the best way to do this is to glue the two ends first. This is already pre-cut to this dimension to make it fit. So I'm going to take some glue. Just put some glue along there, and I can see my glue is running out, so I need to grab my other glue. And I'm not too worried if it hangs over, because I can always trim it. I am going to try to line this one up this way. I think I'm going to put this one here. I'm trying to line it up with the edge and at the top so that I only have to cut one side. Always trying to minimize work for myself. So this is the hammered metal, this is the Parisian, this one is the Ornate Floral, and this is the Scripty. And now mainly what I need to do is just get good spacing between these two right here. So I'm going to sort of get it in the spot I want. And I like to lift it up and put glue down so that I don't have to mess with it too much. Once I'm happy with it, I'll go back and glue the bottom half. But I just want to make sure I've got everything lined up the way I like it. It looks good. I'm going to press it down a little bit. I'm going to even give it a couple minutes. I'm going to, while I'm waiting, cut this piece off. See how I use that edge to help me? And same thing here. The only danger is if I haven't glued that bottom and I need to move it a little bit, I'm going to have trouble, but always living on the edge there. That's what you can say about me. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. I'm just going to pull this back, put a little glue on there, same with this one, and take one last look to see if I'm happy with the spacing. I need to turn it this way for you to see the spacing. Okay, so now I'm ready to move forward with the card. I am going to make the ribbon that I always do, and I thought that it would be smart to, at some point, to tell you how many inches I use for going across this width. And I like to use about 8.5 inches. I never actually measured. I always just eyeball it, which is, again, not a smart thing, because I'm sure a couple times I wasn't happy with what I got. And I try to really make this little piece short. Now, if you need more ribbon, go for it. You don't need to follow my exact directions. Everyone has to find their comfort zone. But the way that I make sure that this is short is I pull from the bottom. So the knot's going up, not going down. What I mean is not by pulling these two, but by actually pulling these two once I have it in place. And then I just trim it. And then I trim it here. Now, because I want it shorter on one side, I'm going to cut off more on one side. If I wanted it right in the middle, I would have done that. And I'm going to go ahead and secure that to the back of this using some old Stampin' Seal, or actually Fast Fuse. I don't know what happened to my Stampin' Seal. Oh, it's sitting right next to me. I'm going to go up a little bit higher because I need to have room for that heart. Okay, get that glued down. Still needs to be adjusted a little bit. That's why I like the Stampin' Seal or the Fast Fuse, but I can go ahead and get this glued down here while I work on the rest of it. Now, because I'm working with Blushing Bride, it's very subtle and probably hard for you to see, and I apologize. I could stamp in a darker color, but I have this thing about it being matchy-matchy. So the first thing I'm going to do is stamp on a scrap piece of paper my sentiment. And actually, I think I'm going to punch it out. I rarely do this, but because I want to line it up a certain way, I'm going to. So I'm going to punch out my heart from my duo set. I love this. You can buy both of them for less than you could buy them individually. They still sell it. It's about $2 less if you buy it that way. So I'm lining it up the best I can, and then I'm going to leave it on for a second. It is so very light, but I just love the subtlety of it. And then I'm just going to stamp some hearts here and there all over, because who doesn't love getting hearts for Valentine's Day? Okay, so now we're ready to put this together. I have a scrap piece of Blushing Bride cardstock. I'm going to cut out the backing. And that's it. I could put some little pearls on it, but I'm going to hold off. I tend to over-decorate everything. And this is a simple card, using old pieces and things you have laying around. I love my embossing folders. I don't use them enough, so this is a great way to use them. And I get that play on texture all over. One of my favorite terms when I was learning art was repetition and variation. So this pattern repeats in size, but it varies in texture. And that's always a classic way to get good art. So there you go. They're hard to see. I'm going to hold this one up so you can really see it. You see how, I always go the wrong direction. So there you go. Card is done. That was super easy to do. And tomorrow I'll have a beautiful new card for you at 1 o'clock. I hope you can join us Thursday at 1, either on YouTube or Facebook. I'm on now. I'm on both. So getting out there a little bit more. Have a great day and enjoy.